Recording. Okay, let's start. I hope everyone can hear me. Please write in the chat if you can hear me. Am I audible? Can someone write in the chat? Yes, good evening. Okay. Okay then. Yeah, so quick refresher on so these sessions are meant for solving some problems, and that is exactly what we'll be doing this week also. So we'll be looking at some programming questions in Python, and I'll solve them out like live right now. And so if you have any questions, you can just write in the chat. I have turned off the mic for now. Okay, since there are not too many people, I think I can turn on the mics. But try to use the chat more. But in between different questions, when I ask someone if there is a question, then you can turn on your mic and let me know if you have questions. Otherwise, just when I'm solving the question, please just write your questions in the chat. Okay. So then, so this is week 3 of Joy of Computing Using Python course, and I think this week is mostly on list, how to work with lists in Python, which is, if you are familiar with other languages, they are also called, say, arrays. Python lists are a bit different from other, like C's array or Java arrays, but yeah, like lists are much more flexible, you can say, much more easy to use in Python. That's why we're learning Python. So it's very easy to work with. So yeah. So yeah, the point of these sessions is to actually for you to solve these questions too. So I would like, so when I show a question, so I would like you to also solve alongside me. So I'll wait for a couple of minutes. You can try to solve it out yourself. You can, if you have Spider installed, or if you don't have Spider installed, please just type, say, online Python on Google, and then you will get a website to actually run Python. And so it will be good if you can solve the questions yourself. So let's start with the first question. So the first questions are quite easy, so I think you'll be able to solve them. So let's start with this question. So just given a list, so suppose you have a list stored, you don't have to take it as input. We can discuss how to take a list as input later on, but suppose you have a variable L called list. So write a program to just print the even numbers in the list. So I'll just show an example of what I mean to say. So suppose you have a list called L equals to some list 1 2 3 4 5 6, simple list, 7 7 8, something like this, or maybe like this. Okay, so you have to print all of these all of the even numbers only. Let me just do this. Okay, so you have to just write a program to print all the even numbers. So try it out yourself. I'll wait for 2 minutes and then I'll start solving. In the list. Okay. So this will be a very short program. You can just, if you have finished, you can just copy paste this in the chat. I think it will be just 2-3 lines. Yeah, 3-4 lines, I think. So you can, someone should write it in the chat. This is very easy. You can, if you try it, you can do it. I think Bhagyasri, are you writing something? Just copy your code. Yes. Yes, so the code is quite simple, so I'll solve it. I think, yeah, Bhagyasri, you are correct. So there are just two things to uh, do over here. So firstly, so for each element in the list L, you have to like go over each element in the list, which can be done with the for loops that was covered last week. So for say item in L, so item will refer to each one of these items in the list. So we'll iterate over each item one by one. So first time the value of item will be 1, next time the value of item will be 2, then 3, and so on, then 6, 8, 10. Okay. So basically we have to do two things. We have to check if it is an even number or not, and if it is an even number, then we have to just print it. So to check an even number, we have to do this item mod 2 equals to 0, and then if it is a even number, then you print item. Check if item is even. So what we are doing here, basically, if you missed the last class, so this is basically we are doing this is the modulo operator, though this is not the same as the like mathematical modulus operator, which is kind of like the absolute value. This is more like the remainder operator. So if you divide item by 2, then what is the remainder do you get? That is what this percentage sign is doing. So and so if you are dividing item by 2 and if the remainder is 0 is equal to 0, then we know that it is a even number. So we're just printing the item, and that's it. That's just 3 lines of code, and you can see it has printed only the even numbers, none of the odd numbers. Okay, so this was a very easy question. Next question is, I think, also very easy. So let's go to the next question. So next question is, again, you'll be given a list. Now you have to write a program to print the numbers in odd positions. So this is slightly different. So not just that earlier it was even, now it's odd. So now the question says write a program to print the numbers in odd positions. So you don't have to print the odd numbers, but you have to print the numbers which are there in odd positions. And like list numbering starts from 0, so always remember this when you are programming in most languages, except few like say MATLAB. In most languages, whenever you have an array or a list, you always start counting with 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So suppose you can label each item in the list. So suppose this is the list we have. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can mark that the first item is say, okay. So this is position 0, position 1, position 2, position 3, so on. So you have to print the numbers which are there in the odd numbered positions. So try it out for a couple of minutes. This is also very easy and very similar to the previous one. You have to change just a few things. So those who are joining late, please just try to solve this question on your own for a couple of minutes, then I'll solve it. So given a list, we have to write a program to print the numbers which are there in odd positions in the array. And remember that like list numbering starts from 0, so you have to print like the like number at 1, the number at position 3, number at position 5. So for a given array, say this L array, you have to print set 2. So basically you have to print okay, I'll do it in another file, I guess. Let me just show you what you have to print. So you have to print basically 2, 4, 6, 10. So this is what you have to print given this array as input. Any answers yet? Okay, I'll solve this. This is not very difficult. So there are two ways to solve it. So if you look at the previous question, in the previous question we were iterating over the items in L, but now we have to like iterate over the indices basically. So we have to iterate over 0 to 0 to the end of this list. So you have to in the earlier question you were this item, the value of item would be each element in L, but this time you have to make it like the index of L. So for that you have to start counting, say 0 1 2 3 4. So instead of going over the elements of L, you have to start counting like 0 1 2 3 4. So for that you have the range function, if you remember. So we'll say I, which stands for index, I in so earlier we just did for I in L, but we now want to count from say 0 to the length of the list. So to count till the end of the list, we have to just do length of L. So this will count from 0 to the length of the list basically. So this is from last week. If you remember the range function, it basically if you print out so let me show you on the side what the range function does. So range say len L. So it will just create a list of indices. So like 0 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, and there are like 8 elements in L, so it is counting from 0 to 7. So this is what the range function does. So now we have to do the same thing as last time. We have to check if the index is odd. So earlier we were checking if the item is odd. This time we are checking if the index is odd. So same thing, check if index is odd. So this is a comment. If you don't know, if you start a line with a hash, then that line is like ignored by Python. It is just there for your sake. So this line number 6 is not doing anything. So we are just have to check if the index is odd. So if I mod 2 equals to 1, print, and what you have to print, that I'm coming to. So can anyone write what should we print here? We cannot just write print I, because that will just print the numbers like indices 1 3 5 7, but we want to print the values in L at that position. So what do we have to write here? Can you write in the chat what do you have to write inside print? And for those who joined late, if you don't know what this percentage thing does, so this percentage is basically the modulus operator, or you can think of it like the remainder operator. So if we divide I by 2, then what is the remainder? And if you divide I by 2 and if the remainder is 1, then you know it's an odd number. So someone says Li. Yes, so Li is the correct thing. So if you just print I, that will just print the index, but if you print Li, then it will print the item at item in L at that position I. So if you print, we'll get 2 4 6 10. So that is what we wanted to print. And you can check, you can also print two things, say I comma. So if you print like this, you can see the numbers, and so at first position is 2, at third position is, so third position means actually index 3, not third position. So 3 is 4, at position 5 it's 6, at position 7 it's 10. So that is what we want to print. Okay. So these were very easy questions, just 3 lines have to write. Yes. So okay, let's go to the next question. Okay, if you have any questions in between, you can write in the chat or unmute yourself and ask. If not, so these were very easy questions. So let's move on to the next one. So this is almost the same thing, just slightly different. You have to just modify it a little bit. So given a list, write a program to print the sum of numbers in odd positions and numbers in even positions. So you have to print them separately. So all of the numbers in the list that are there in the odd positions, you have to sum them up and print it, and the numbers that are there in even positions, you have to sum them up and print it. So I would like you to try for a couple of minutes. So you can start with, say, if you already have the code for the previous question ready. So we are printing out the odd numbers. So you can try to just print the sum of the odd numbers first. And then after you finish that, then you can think about just printing the sum of the numbers in even positions. So just try to find out the sum of those numbers. If you have the answer, you can copy paste your code in the chat. At least for say the sum of odd numbers only. You can forget about even numbers for like the start. Just print the sum of the numbers in the odd positions. So let me go back to the. So what we want to do is just print out, instead of this, we want to print out the sum of these numbers basically. So that is equals to something 22. So we want to print out this 22 basically is what we want to print out. So how do you modify this code? Okay. Okay, it's not that much writing. Okay, I'll just solve it. Okay, so firstly, okay, someone has given the code, so that's good. Yes, so you are correct, Bhagyasri. So okay, so I'll just solve the question. So firstly, you have to okay, one thing is don't use sum as a variable. That is something like Bhagyasri, don't use sum as a variable because sum is like a function in Python, like print is a function, so sum is also a function. So yeah, the easy thing is just so I'll show you a few different ways to do it, and also why you should not use sum as a variable name. So okay, so let's say so first let's say we want to just sum of the odd numbers. So the way to do it is we have to first declare a variable to store the sum. So let's call it say sum of odd, okay, equals to 0. And yeah, when you're writing programs, you don't hesitate to write say bigger variable names. Just a second. Yeah, sorry about that. Okay, so sum odd, so this is like a proper name. So we want to store the sum of the odd like the numbers in odd position. So everything else remains the same. Instead of print, we'll just do sum odd plus equals to li. So instead of printing the number, we are just adding it to this variable, and then at the end we have to just do print say sum of numbers in odd positions, comma, let me just and it's sum odd. So this is what you write. Okay, it's going over next, and that's just to okay, you can also write like this. Okay, so if you print this, you can just see that it prints out 22 sum of odd numbers. So now if you have to also print out the sum of the even numbers, then what you do, so firstly you need another variable for storing that. So let's say sum even equals to 0. So you can just do, if you write this, then both sum odd and sum even will get the same value, which is 0, or you can write them in separate lines also. And so so here we were checking if the index is odd. So if the index is not odd, we know that by default if the index is not odd, the index is even. So what we'll do is just write an else. And so if the index is odd, do this. If the index is even, then do this. And what do we have to do here? That is sum even plus equals to li. And we can copy paste this same thing. Sorry. Sum of numbers in even positions, even. And that will give you the sum the numbers in the even position. So like so what we printed was basically 1 plus 3 plus 5 plus 8, that equals to 17. So that was the traditional way of doing it. I'll show you a shortcut way, like the Pythonic way. Okay, so while on the subject, let's also talk about comments a bit. So like I said, so if you begin a line with a hashtag, then that line will be ignored by Python. So this is like a comment. This is for your, so that you can read this. And if you have multiple lines, say suppose I want to comment all this entire thing. So what you can do is you can give 3 quotes at the end and 3 quotes at the like start and end. So what happens is this will make this entire thing a comment. So more specifically, it will become a string, but for our purposes, we can think that this is like a string that Python will not do anything about it. So we now want to do the same thing what we did over here, but in a shorter way. So the shorter way is, say suppose we are printing. So I'll just write and then I'll explain what it's doing. So instead of sum out, we'll just do, so L is our list. I'll just copy it here so that you can see here. Okay, so L is this. We want to print the numbers in the OR positions. So what you can do is L and then sum. So this is like the shortcut of whatever code we had written. So you can just do this, and so if I write the even one, you will also get some idea of what it might be doing, but I'll also explain what each part is doing. So this is basically your code in very short form. So that is the beauty of Python. So initially we had written this is also not a very big code, but still we had written 5-6 lines, and that you can do in only 2 lines. So what this is doing is basically, so let's just focus on one thing at a time, just the odd numbers. So what is going on here is, so you are what sum does is sums up a list. So if you just do, say let me show in the interpreter. So if you just do sum L, so this will print out the sum of all the numbers in L. Okay, so that is what sum does. It just prints out the sum of all the numbers in list. And what the inside part is doing, this 1::2, that is, we are filtering out portions of L. So L is, you can see 1 2 3 4 5 6 8 10, and what L 1::2 is doing is it prints out the like the numbers in the odd positions. So what 1 means is that you start with, so this is similar to what we are doing with range function. So range, we are doing, say something like len L2, so to get the odd number. So if you do this, you'll get the odd numbers in the like odd indices. So what this L is doing is we are doing the same thing here. So we are starting with the first element and we are going till the last element, so that you can give it like this also, or you can give it, say 1 len L. So I think this will seem more familiar to you. So if you do this, it will do the same thing. So L, we are starting from 1, we are going till the number of elements in L, like till the end of L, and we are skipping 1 element in between. So we are jumping 2 elements at a time. So you can see that L started with 1 2 3 4 5 6. So we are first starting with, say, the element in the first position, which is 2. Then we are jumping by 2, which is 2 to 4, 4 to 6, 6 to 10. And similarly for the even thing, what we did was basically 0 to len L to 2. And so these are if you want to be completely sure of what you're doing. But when you're doing this, there's a shortcut, like you can see. So the shortcut is, if you are going till the end, then you don't have to write the number, and if you're starting from 0, then also you don't have to write the number. So the shortcut is, if you want the even numbers, so you can, in shortcut you can write : so that means start from the beginning and go till the end and jump 2 elements at a time. So that will give you all the elements in the even numbered positions. And if you want the odd numbered positions, we just start with 1. So this will give you the odd numbered positions. And then finally, like I said, so sum will do the sum of these numbers, L say colon colon 2. So this is like the sum of the even numbers, and it's like sum of the numbers in the even positions, and sum of the numbers in the odd positions. So this is the shortcut of in Python you can do. Okay, any questions about this overall question and also this last part? If you have any questions, you can unmute yourself and ask or type in the chat. Otherwise, we'll move on to the next question. Check once. Students up there. Okay. Okay, so I don't see any. Yes, this is yes. The term this is called actually slicing. Yes. So this whatever you're writing in the brackets, this is called slicing. So we are taking a slice, you can say. If you have a cake, you are taking a slice of the cake. So this you have a list and you are taking a slice of the list. Yes. Okay, so I don't see any questions. So we'll move on to the next question. I think maybe these questions are too easy for you. Okay. So slightly more challenging question. Let's do this. So you have a list given, and you have to write a program to print the smallest 3 numbers in ascending order and the 4 largest numbers in descending order. So you have to find out which are the smallest numbers and print them, and you have to find which are the largest numbers and print them. So I think okay, I'll just solve it because yeah, this is also not very difficult, but there are a few ways to do it. So I'll show you one way. So what we have to do is, so given a list, suppose we have the same list as before, L. So what we want to print is the largest 3 numbers, which are like, largest 4 numbers, sorry. So like 10, 8, 6, 5. So we want to print largest 4 numbers, which is basically 10, 8, 6, 5, and then print the smallest 3 numbers, which is basically like 1, 2, and 3. So don't just so this array is sorted, like this is arranged in ascending order. Let's just okay, let's change the array, otherwise this will let's just do random numbers. I think that will be better. So let's say we have 5 some random numbers I'm just giving, and there may be repetitions like this. Okay, so suppose this is the array. So what are the, so always before starting to write the code, you should try to understand what you have to do. So here you have to understand what you want to print. So the largest 4 numbers are 9, 8, 6, and 7. So you want to print 9, 8, 6, 7. The smallest 3 numbers are 1, 2, and there are 2 4s. You have to print only one of them. 1, 2, 4. Suppose there are some other numbers. Suppose there is also, say, 5 and 6 is also there, maybe. So the output still stays the same. So there is, so let me show you the shortcut in Python, and that is also actually the easier way to do. So intuitively you have to understand what you want to do. So you have to get the smallest 3 numbers and the largest 3 numbers. So the easiest way to do it is to sort the array. So like arrange the array in ascending order or descending order. Then you can, if you have the array the list in ascending or descending order, then you can just print out, say, the first 3 elements and the last 4 elements, because if you know, if an array is arranged in ascending order, then the so we want to sort basically, which sorting just means arranging in ascending order or descending order. So we have a function in Python called sort, which does basically that. So if you do L dot sort, this will just, and then let us print L and see what happens if we call this. So if we do L dot sort, what will it do to L? So you can see it has arranged the numbers in ascending order, right? So what this L dot sort does is it basically arranges it in ascending order. Now if you want to do it in descending order, then you inside sort you have to pass a, you can say a argument. You have to tell sort function that no, I don't want the ascending order, I want to get the descending order. Okay, so so by default, if you don't tell it anything, it will just give you an ascending order. If you want the descending order, you have to tell it that give me descending order. So for that, you have to tell it to reverse it, right? So reverse equals to true. So what this does is it is telling that yes, you should reverse. Okay, so if you now print it, you will see that now the array is arranged in descending order, right? So now what do we want to print? So we want to print, so suppose we have it in the reversed order, in the ascending order. So we know that now L is in arranged in descending order. So we now have to print the largest 4 numbers, which is you can understand just the first 4 numbers. So like the previous question, we want to slice and get the first 4 numbers, right? So that is just this. This is the shortcut. You can just print this. So to slice, in shorthand you just write :4. If you slightly want to make it more easy to understand, you can write it say 041. So this is the, you can say the default. So what it will print is like the first 4 elements. So if the it starts with 0, then you don't have to write the number, like I said. If it ends with the last number, then you don't have to write. But here we are not going till the end of the array. We are going till the 4th number. So we are giving :4, and we are jumping each number at a time. We are not skipping any numbers. So 1, and if the skip is 1, then we don't have to give it. So this is like the short form. So we just basically want all the numbers from start till the 4th number. All right, and if you want the, now we have to print now. Okay, let me see in the chat. So if you want to print the last 3 numbers, what do you write here? Can anyone print, type in the chat? So this should be interesting. Just think of how you want to. Yes. So okay, let's go with the easier solution first. I think not easier, but straightforward solution, which comes to mind first only. So let's say to print the first 3 numbers, we again sort it normally and print say the first 3 numbers, right? So 3 numbers. So yeah, so what this will do is this will sort it in as a descending order and print the first 4 numbers, and then it will sort it in ascending order and print the last 3 numbers. First 3 numbers, which is 1 to 4. Okay, so this is what we want to do now. So not important right now, but as you'll understand later on that this sort function actually is not very efficient. You can say it is takes a bit of time, so we should not use it too often, right? Okay, so let us say that we don't want to sort it again. We just want to, we have sorted the list once, and we want to print the last 3 elements. Okay, so we already have say so I'll just print L once. So initially print L and then L4. So this much we have done already. So we have L in descending order, and we have printed the first 4 elements, which is 9, 8, 6, 7, 6, which is the biggest 4 numbers. Okay, now we want to print basically the last 3 numbers of this list, which is basically the smallest elements. So how do we print it? Can anyone say what to write here? Or say suppose if we want to print it like this only, say let's start with that. Say someone wants, we just want to print it 4 to 1. Then what do we write here? We have to just do some slicing. Yes, so again, yeah, Bhagesh, you're correct. So okay, so let's start with what you want to do if you just want to print the last 3 numbers in the original orientation. So if you want to print say 4 to 1, so you have to just give over here. So you want to start from say, let's do len L minus 4 colon. So that is len L. So this is what we want to do, right? So you want to start from, so the len L will give you the length of the list. So the end, we want to start from 3. So right, last 3 numbers, right? So you want to start from 3 numbers behind L, and we want to go till L, right? So now there is a shortcut to this. So like I said, first thing is obviously if you are going till the end, then you don't have to write len l. You just give a colon and then nothing after the colon. That will mean go till the end of the list. So we are telling right now is that we start from the element which is like 3 behind the end, like third last number, and you go till the end, right? That's what we want to print. So if you print this, you can see it will print out 4 to 1, right? So let's hide these for now. Right, so it is printing 4 to 1. So the shortcut to this is you can just write minus 3 colon. So what this means is, so when you give a negative number as an index, it automatically means length minus that. Okay, so if you just give minus 3, that will mean length minus 3 to the end. So if you just run this, you will get the same thing, 4 to 1, right? Now so this is your slicing. Basically you are getting the last 3 numbers in the list now, but the original question was you have to print it 1 2 4 in the ascending order. So the shortcut way to do it again is you just do reverse of it, right? But so you just do reversed, so reversed. Okay, so what reversed does is similar to this reverse. So the note that there is a change. Inside sort we had written reverse, but here outside sort we are just writing reversed. There's this d extra, you can see. So reversed, what it does is it just reverses whatever you give it into it. So it will okay, so it actually returns a list. So sorry, it returns not a list, so we have to do a list. Okay, this is not so easy, then it becomes a bit complicated. Okay, I'll show you the other way. So what this is doing is it's reversing the numbers. So okay, so let's just do slicing. I think someone had written the answer. So what so the other way to do it is we go negative numbers, right? So we also had a step, if you remember. So initially we had written something like len l minus 3 to len l, and then we have a step, right? So by default step is 1, like how many numbers to jump over, right? So we can also do it in negative. We can jump in the opposite direction, so we can also give it minus 1. So let's see what this will print. This is not printing anything. So why is that? So when you are going reverse, it will see that this portion is smaller than this. So when it's going in reverse, it is not actually printing anything, right? So you have to, when you are giving a negative number in the step, you have to swap the you can say you have to swap these two numbers. So let's just swap them. Let's just keep them like this. Okay, so length, we are starting from length L, we are going to the item at length L minus 3, and we are going backwards. Okay, so if you print this, what does it print? It prints only 1 and 2. So why is that? So if you may remember that while slicing we go up to the item minus 1, right? So if we do say L L4, sorry, L slice up to 4, so it will print the first 4 elements, but like, so it will print up to the 4th index, right? So 0 1 2 3 4 sorry, 0 1 2 3, and it is not printing the 4th index. So here also, if you have to print till the 3rd last item, you have to give minus 4. Okay, so this is becoming 1 to 4. Now again, yeah, so the shortcut to this is, I think you can just do this. Let's check. Can you do this? I'm not sure. Let's find out. Yes. So like I said, if it is just length L, then you don't have to write length L, and if it's a negative number, then by default length L will be there. So if you just do this, this will print out the numbers, the last 3 numbers in ascending order, like reversed order. Okay, so this was slightly a bit bigger question. So if you have any questions, you can write in the chat. I don't see any questions till now. Okay. Okay. Let's go to the next question. I think, yeah, let's do this. How much time do we have? Okay, we have time. Okay, so let's go over this question. So now let's move on to a slightly more realistic usage that you'll use in the like real world. So till now the questions were like, just practice questions, but let's now move on to so this is some question that you may actually need to do in real life. So suppose we want to implement sets. So sets, right? From mathematics, like a list of unique numbers. So we want to store sets in the form of list in Python. So try to okay now I'll solve this. Okay, let's see. Okay, so suppose you are given S1 set1 equals to, say, let's say something like this. So you have two sets like this. Okay, so first you have to check if the lists are actually sets. So what this means is that in a set, obviously all the numbers will be unique. There will be no repeated numbers. So if I give something like 2, 3, so this is not a set because 2 and 3 are repeated, right? So how do we check if a number is a set? Sorry, if a list is a set. So you have to check if there are any duplicate numbers or not. So okay, now there is a long way to check it. Okay, let's start with that only, and then we'll look at the short way. So if you don't know anything about Python, just based on what you've learned till now, just for loops and stuff, or if you know other languages, say C, C++, Java, then how do you check if S1 is a set or not? So we'll do that. So we'll just so we need basically two loops. So we have for each number, so we'll select a number. So we'll select 1, and then we'll check if any of the other numbers are 1. Okay, there are no other ones. Then we'll select 2, then we'll select 2, and then we'll check if there is a 2 in the other numbers, and there is a 2. So once we find there is another number, then we'll say that it's not a set. But if we don't find 2, if suppose there is no 2, then we'll move on to 3, and we'll check if any of the remaining numbers are 3 or not. Okay, so that is what we do. So for say I in, so again we want to iterate over the list, so it's better to use indices. Okay, no, let's do it the other way. So if you do if I in S1, so you know that this will just print the values in S1. If you print it, it will print out 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, which is S1. So if you want to do the index, then you know what to do. You have to give range L len S1. So this is if you want the indices, if you want the position numbers. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So now, okay, let's just make them a bit different so that it's easier to understand between the numbers and indices. Let's do this. Okay, so if you print this, you will get 1, 2, 3, 4. If you just do S1, then it will print out the numbers in S1, which is 11, 22, 33, 44, 3. Okay, so if you want to automatically get the numbers and get the indices, then you can write enumerate. Sorry. So what enumerate does is it gives you two numbers, the index and the value. Okay, or item, let's say item. So I is the index and item is the number. So if you print them side by side, you will understand what I'm trying to say. So this is doing the work of both things at once. You're also getting the indices 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. You're also getting 11, 22, 33, 44, 33. Okay. So enumerate does this. So instead of writing range len S1, you can also write enumerate S1. Okay. So okay, going back to the question. So we had to check if the list is a set, right? So that means check if there are duplicate numbers. Okay, so for checking that, like I said, so we hold on to a number, so we already have that number item, then we check each other number if it is the same number or not. Okay, so for that we need another for loop. Say for j in let's do enumerate again, enumerate, or we don't need enumerate, we just need the value, right? So let's just say other item, why not, in S1. Okay, you have to check one thing. If you have to check, so you are holding on to a number and we are checking all the numbers that comes after this current number. So you want to check the numbers that comes after I, right? So you are holding on to 11. We are checking if it matches any other numbers in the remaining list. We are then holding 22, and then we are checking if it's present in the rest of the list. We are holding say 33, and then we are checking in the rest of the list if there is another 33, and yes, there is a 33. So what we want to do is we want to again slice this array. So you want to check from after the current item, right? So you want to start from I plus 1, and we want to go till the end. So again, not going into details this time, already explained a few times. So we are starting from I plus 1th item, and we are going till the end. Okay, and now we want to check if these numbers are same or not. So you want to check if item is same as the other item, and if it is the same as the other item, then we know that this is not a set, right? So you can print not a set. Okay, and then we can break out of it. Okay, and if we come outside, then yeah, we know that okay, so we need to store something like this, I think. Okay. So we let us store set or not. So by default we'll keep it, say it is a set, so true, or let's call it say is set. This is better, I think. So is set is true. Initially we are keeping it, and if we find that it is not a set, then we set is set to false. Okay, and then at the end we are just checking if is set, if it is true, or you can also do say if is set equals to true, print set it is a set, else print it is not a set. Okay, so you can write like this. You can just ignore this part because by default it will check that. So if is set is true, then it is a set, you print it, else it is not a set. So this is one way to print it. So it will show you that it is not a set. So now we just try it. We remove 33. Now we can see that it is a set. 11, 22, 33, 44. If we run it, it will print it is a set, right? So any questions about this? Let me check the chat. Okay, if you have any questions, you can write in the chat, or you can unmute and ask. Okay, I don't see any questions. So okay, I'll show you the shortcut to doing this in Python. So in Python you already have sets, and you can utilize that. So we already have cell S1, S2. Right, so for checking a set, so first what we can do to check a set is we can convert this list into a set, and then we can check if like the length is same or not. So what set does, so let's say we want to create a set. So let's just call it set1. Okay, equals to set S1. Okay, so set is, again you can see it is colored because it is also like a function. So what set does, actually not a function, it's like a variable, but you can think of it like so what set does is it creates a set from a list. So if you print set1, prints set1, you can see that the numbers have been shuffled, but you can see that each number is there only once, like the oh sorry, I had removed the extra 33 anyway. So okay, let's run it again. Okay, so you can see now L1. Okay, let's print both side by side, then you can get the idea. S1, yes, so S1 has say 133 extra, but this set1, this does not have the extra 33. And you can also see one thing, that this has like square brackets or third brackets, and this has like curly brackets or second brackets. So this is also like, if you have curly brackets, you know that this is a set. Okay, so this is a set. Set1 is a set, like actual set. So to check if S1 was a set or not, we can just check if the lengths are same. So we can check len set1, let's say if length of set1 equals to length of S1, then we print say it is a set, then we print it is a set, else it is not a set. Okay. So okay, let's just do it. Why not? It is not a set. Okay, let's run it. So it is not a set. Now if we remove 33, now it will show that it is a set. Okay. So that's how you build sets in Python. Let's also go over quickly the say intersection and union. So okay, since there is not a lot of time, let's just see the shortcut way itself. So you already have created a set 1 over here, right? And so suppose you also want to, so suppose you want to, yes, you have a
I have
question?
small question here.
Yes, please go
Uh,
ahead.
for utilizing set, whether anything we need to import or by default we can
Yes.
utilize set.
Yes, no, for sets, so there are some built-in functions in Python for which you don't need to import anything. Like say print function, before printing you don't need to import anything. Similarly for say length function, and same as set. So set is, you can say it is a variable similar to int. So if you do int, this is also like a variable, right? So suppose okay, let's see a small example. What happened to this? Oh, sorry, history. Okay, so let's see a small example over here. So you can also use a int. So if you have a fractional number, say 4.2, and if you do int, it will return you the integer value of that. So similarly, set is also creating a set variable from the list. So you don't need to import anything; it is built in. Similar to the length function, similar to the print function, set is built in. Also, like
Okay,
we had
thank
like
you.
sort, we also did sort, we also did that reverse thing. So all of these are built in. Also the range function, all of this you don't need to import anything. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. So okay, let's move on to the, say we want to find say the intersection and union. Print union and intersection, and also set difference. Let's say set difference. Okay. So what do we do? So firstly we obviously we have to convert s2 to a set2. Like let's do this, set2 equals to s2. Okay, now let's print and see what is set1 and set2. Set1, set2. If we print them, you can see that these are two sets. Okay. Now in Python, when you have two sets, to find the intersection you just need to do set1 dot intersection set2. Okay. So if you print this, okay, okay, so if you print this, you'll get the intersection. Similarly, let's just do the union also. Union. Let's remove these and run it. So if you see now, the intersection is 33 and 44, and the union is 33, 22. Like all of the numbers in both s1 and s2 are present here. So these are the intersection and union. Okay, so even more shortcut over here. So the more shortcut would be just to use say and pipe operator. So if you know something about say C or C++ or even maybe Java, so you know that when you are writing a condition, so if A or B, you used to write like this, or if A and B. So similarly, those operators are what we'll use here. So you want to print set1 and set2. Sorry, set2. So what this means is like the intersection between set1 and set2. Okay. And similarly for union, you write this. So this is not a slash. This is a like vertical line. This is called the pipe, which is present in most keyboards. It's present with the slash key. So just above enter key, you will find this. You have to press shift and then slash. This is called the pipe operator, the pipe character. So this means union. Okay. So if you print, we can see the same answer. And okay, for set difference, you can just also write similarly set1 minus set2. So set difference means all of the elements in set1 that are not there in set2. So this will just print say 11 and 22 because 33 and 44 were there in set2 also. Okay, please paste the code in the chat. Okay, you don't need to I'll be adding these answers in the slides itself before uploading to online on NPTEL, but for now, yes, I'll just paste it in the chat. So yes, okay, there are some comments, you can ignore those comments, or I'll just remove them myself. Let's just do this. Okay. Okay, I think we have 5 more minutes. Okay, I think there's not enough time to solve another question because these are like increasingly. Okay, this one is a short one. I think let's just do this, and maybe we can look at how to input an array. So I'll just go over it quickly. So given a list, we have to write a program to check if the list is in ascending order or not. So this should be easy, like given that you already know sort function. So I'll just write it here. So I'll comment out this part. So like I said, so 3 quotes, this means this part is a comment. So we have a list. Okay, we want to check if it is sorted or not. So for that, this is very easy. So you create another list and you sort it, right? So you create L, say L duplicate, L dup equals to sorted L. So okay, we did not use okay, let's just do that. I think that will be easier to understand. Okay, L dup. So let's just create a duplicate because we will be changing L, right? We will be changing the order of L. So we can just make a duplicate and sort it out. So to make a duplicate, if you just write this for integer variables, this will work. So suppose if you have a equals to 2 and b equals to say b equals to a, and then you suppose you do b plus equals to 5 and you print b, print a and b, we are printing both, say. So when you're doing this with integers, let's say, it will just copy the number 2 to b like you would expect. So it is copying the value of a to b, and then it is adding 5 to b, and then you're printing both, right? But for lists, it is slightly more different. Why, that I'm not getting into right now, but you can think that for lists you are not actually you are just giving the list to the other element. You are not actually copying the items in the list. So if you just do this, and suppose we okay, you may or may not know that you can add a number to the list using, say, append function. Append, say, let's say we are appending a number 99, okay, and then we are printing, say, both L and L dup. L, print L, print L dup. So now you would expect that since L is this and we are just copying and adding, so we'll have, say, 1 2 3 4 5 6 8 10, and then 1 2 3 4 5 6 8 10 99, right? But if you do this, you will see that in both cases, in L also this has got copied, because what this is doing is not exactly copying the array, but you can just say you are just telling that there is the array. Okay, so for integers it will work, but for lists it will not work. So what you have to do to copy it is you have to do kind of a cheating, which is you have to just do this. This is like a slice. So you are just telling that give L dup all the numbers in L from start to finish. So this is like basically this is like 0 to len L. So this is the same as so copy all the numbers from 0 to the end of L to L dup, or for shortcut, like I said, so you can just do like this. So now if it tests this code, you can see that L has not changed. L is still up to 10 and L dup has 99. Okay. So okay, so anyway, we not need to append it, but that's, I just showed it to like show you that you need to, this is how you copy an array. To copy an array, you have to do this. Okay. So now what we want to check is if, so the question says you have to check if L was sorted or not. Okay. So to check if L was sorted or not, so what you do is you duplicate it, you sort it, and then you see if the new sorted list matches the earlier list or not. Okay. So you just do L dup dot sort. Okay, and then you check. So for checking, again the shortcut is you can just use equals to ldup. Okay, ldup. So you just do say if l equals to ldup, print so list was sorted, and else list was not sorted. Okay, so currently the list is sorted. uh, if we print it, it will show that the list was sorted. Suppose we insert some random number in between, which will make it not sorted. So we added a 2 in between. So now you can clearly see that there is a number which is not sorted. So this array is not sorted. Okay, so if you print this, you will see that list was not sorted. And if you want to take a look at what ldup is, print l print ldup. Okay, if you print it, you can see that L is the original array, 1 2 3 4 2 5 6 8 10. Sorry, and the sorted list has like 1 2 2 3 4 5 6 8 10. Okay, so yeah, this is how we can check if our list was sorted or not. Okay, I think we are over time. I think the rest of the questions are a bit bigger, so yeah, I'll take the question and then I'll show you how you can input a list. Okay, someone has a question.
Hi. Actually,
Yes.
while comparing this list,
Yes.
no need to compare each and every numbers directly.
Yes.
We can L equal to L dub if you put it. Whether directly it will compare all the numbers or how it is.
Yes, good question. So yes, so that is the beauty of Python. Obviously, that's why we want to use Python, because in Python you have to write very little, as you can see. So if you are from, say, if you know some other languages, C, C++, Java, or if you didn't know this thing, then what would you do by yourself? So you would have to check each and every number, right? So for that you have to do something like
For
for
loop is correct.
for I in range, say len L, and then if you want to check if so is sorted, so similar to what we did last time, is sorted, let's set true. So we are initially assuming the list is sorted. Now we check each number one by one. So if li equals to l l duplicate I, sorry, so if it is equal, then we are okay. If it is not equal, then we have a problem. Then we are telling is sorted equals to false. Okay, and then at the end we can do just this thing. So here we check if is sorted. So this is your you can say if you how you would do it in some other language, or if you did not know this. But in Python, for comparing two lists, instead of writing this much, you can just write, say, this much. If you just write if L equals to L dup, it will automatically compare them element by element. All the elements it will compare one by one.
Okay,
So
thank you.
but yes, okay, that's where the set is different from a list. So uh, so let's just show, since we have a, let's just take 2 more minutes to show. So L and L dup, you can see that it is showing that it is not sorted. It is not sorted, right? So but if you convert this to a set and then check it, then you will see that they will be equal, because sets don't have uh, any ordering, you can say. So if you convert it to a set, and then if you check set was not sorted, you can see that set was sorted. Like set is not, like there is nothing as sorting in a set, but this is like, you can see that the sets are equal basically. But for lists, if the all the positions do not match, then it will not be equal. So here this 3 and 2, this position does not match. Here 3 and 2, but in a set it does not matter. It just compares if all the elements are there or not. Okay, so I think that's it. Okay, can you share the recording? I missed the content from the starting. Okay, so I'll be uploading it to my YouTube channel. I'll just share the link once. But I think it will be shared on the NPTEL website also. I'll just don't look at my suggestions. Okay, so my channel, where is the channel link? This is my channel for this course kind of. So I already have like week 1, week 2, and week 3 will be uploaded shortly, say by end of tonight. So I'll paste it in the chat. You can check it out over here. If there are any more questions, I'll stop sharing, I guess. If there are any more questions, I'll wait for a couple of minutes and then I'll end. Stop recording.